I think YouTube hates me, but I know it definitely hates you. So when you start a new YouTube channel, a really weird thing happens. The algorithm on YouTube starts to serve you tons of videos about how to set up a YouTube channel, how to get more views, endless kind of guru stuff, where someone is struggling for views, and so they will make a video about how you get views on YouTube, and people in a similarly desperate position to them will then go and watch those videos and genuinely grow them an audience. It becomes this kind of pyramid scheme. Quite often they are genuinely trying to sell you some sort of ebook or course as well, so there is a high level of cynicism to all of it. The truth of it is, a lot of this stuff that these people say, these gurus, it is kind of nonsense. You need to make better videos. If you don't make better videos, no one's going to watch them. Yes, thank you for stating the obvious. I think what people are missing, if you're watching this, I guess you're probably in this situation, is we're not really complaining about getting a lack of views. We're complaining about getting a lack of impressions. And so impressions are obviously when YouTube is presenting it to people to potentially view. If you're not even getting that, it doesn't matter how good your video is, no one can watch it. You know, they used to say, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound? I guess the equivalent is, if a content creator films a bleached arsehole and uploads it, but no one gets served it, did it happen? Regardless, that is genuinely the situation that lots of people find themselves in right now. Honestly, a lot of the advice that you're actually receiving is kind of survivor bias. Because XYZ YouTuber did well, we take their account as gospel and ignore all of the other YouTubers that didn't succeed. But the multitudes of other people did the same approach and it probably didn't work for them. And even if that advice was real, YouTube has changed so much in such a fairly short period. It's just outdated. It's meaningless now. I don't think people that are successful creators, if they started today, half of them wouldn't be successful. And I know that kind of sounds like sour grapes. Honestly, I don't care. You can call me bitter. You can call me whatever. If you're calling me bitter, it means you've seen this video. That's a step up from where I am now. I will take it. So what's happened? The first thing that we have to recognize is that YouTube as a platform is completely unrecognizable from what it was when it first started. And what I mean by that is it's become so ubiquitous, it's become so huge. It's just a different beast. To give you an example of that, in the UK, it has now got 52 million unique viewers. Comparatively, the BBC, our national broadcaster that's been around forever, has 51 million. YouTube became the biggest player for unique viewers in the UK this year. That's insane. That's such a big movement. That's such a big change from something people like us who basically lived online, used to watch on our computers or whatever in our bedrooms. It's now become the thing that most people go to for content. And that just changes the nature of it. It's a cold, hard cash-making machine. All it cares about, like every other commercial broadcaster in this world, is about the ad sales. It is taking your content and it is monetizing it to sell it to advertisers. That's purely the business that they are in. They do not care about creativity. They do not care about community. They do not care about new voices. They do not care about being part of internet culture or anything else that we probably all imagine in our head because of the marketing and all the different ways that it's been presented to us over the years. Boil that down, because every time that a new content creator comes along with a new channel and they're trying to get an audience, they're trying to build that, and YouTube has to give them a series of impressions as a kind of test, a batch test, or whatever the terminology is that you've seen online, to see if people want to engage with it and build out the sense of who your audience is. Every time they're doing that, they're doing it at the expense of an established creator that they know delivers them views, that they know delivers them retention on the platform, which delivers further views, and all of that delivers advertising money. They want to get ads to people's eyeballs. Content creators are the people that capture the eyeballs. That's all we're there to do. And when they make you part of the YouTube platform as a partner, all they are doing is allowing you to share in the ad revenue that you are capturing. But they're still taking huge amounts of money. So they are not going to give you a huge test as a new creator, because if there's so many new creators every day and we all need our tests to try and build our audience, that becomes a huge deduction from the amount of views that they know will definitely deliver. I cannot say it clearer than it is that new content creators cost YouTube money. We are an expense to them. So you're going, wait a minute, utterly bananas. That's always been the case. YouTube's always been in that business. So nothing's changed there. So they would have always prioritized content creators that are established. There's always been a surplus of content creators. True. However, what did I say at the beginning? YouTube is now a mature platform as a content platform. It's essentially won the platform wars. It has the monopoly. So previously, there was a tension where the amount of eyeballs they could capture and serve ads on was over here, but over here was making sure to get the best new creators, to incentivize people to want to work with their platform if they were a creator. If they didn't do that well, and they didn't give people a fair shake and a chance, those people would say, I'm off to Vimeo, I'm off to Dailymotion, I'm off to some unseen new competitor that's going to come up. That's all ended. YouTube won the war. Those platforms are relevant or they've gone under. And now YouTube, as a mature platform, is bigger than the BBC. And so they do not need to take the same risks with new content creators. They do not need to incentivize us in the same way that they used to. The market conditions for new content creators and our importance to the platform has fundamentally shifted. If you require greater proof of that, just look at the way how they handle shorts and how it is different to how they handle long form. Because in the shorts market, they are not the dominant monopoly. Instagram Reels is a very dominant player. TikTok is obviously a hugely dominant player. Probably the number one platform. It's going to be very close between them and Instagram. YouTube's come late to the party because ultimately they were a longer form content platform and there's been a shift in appetite from audiences towards short form. And YouTube obviously wants to own content online across every spectrum. So they've had to move into the shorts platform by creating a short section. And how do they treat content creators in the short space? Way more favorably. I can't get any views on long form. I can't get any impressions on long form. But when it comes to shorts, I can get 1,000, I can get 2,000. Such a different approach to how they are approaching long form. And they're doing it because they want to win you over from TikTok and Reels. And so the market conditions there in the shorts world are way more favorable and probably more comparable to how it used to be in the long form world. The second reason why no one wants to watch your video and why no one will watch this video is because the content creators themselves have become mature. Every single major UK broadcaster, from Channel 4, ITV, Sky, whoever, they all distribute content through the YouTube platform now. And not only that, but individual content creators have also become mature. They've become superstars. Someone like Mr. Beast, he has now broken the record where he has spent 14 million on a single video. That is such an incredible amount of money. To put it in perspective, it's 5 times the average cost, give or take, of a BBC-led Doctor Who episode. Can you imagine that? If someone had told you that 10 years ago that an individual YouTuber was spending 5 times the production budget of Doctor Who on one of their videos, it would have blown your mind. But this is the competitive market that you now come into as a content creator. And what this means is that the expectation of quality and frequency is disproportionately high. Because content creators, and I'm not just going to talk about Mr. Beast, because yes, he is almost the exception. He's beyond successful. But even just people who have 1 million followers, 2 million followers, it's not uncommon now to see them have full edit teams. Some of them even have development teams, camera teams, multiple camera teams, studios of their own. And so they have production factories as YouTubers where they can react to something. They can be all over it in a way that if you as an individual YouTube content creator who's just starting out, that process that takes you 2 weeks, they can probably put one out in 2 days of a higher quality and do that again and again and again. In that environment, it's very difficult for your content to have any kind of cut through. And because of that, it's just a fact that it's harder than ever to get views on YouTube. The third reason why no one's watching your videos is because the volume of content on YouTube has matured to a point of saturation. I've got some figures. 10 years ago, 2016, 100 million videos were uploaded in that year. 5 years ago, 2021, 500 million videos were uploaded in that year. In the past year, 1 billion videos have been uploaded. The vaults of content on YouTube servers is growing exponentially, and much of that is evergreen content. When there's that volume of material, it's almost impossible for you to be unique. It's almost impossible for you to find a niche that has not been covered yet. And if it hasn't been covered yet, it's probably because it's such risky material that YouTube doesn't want to be associated with it. So the usual response to this is you have to optimize for search. If YouTube won't take you to the people, if you can't go to the people, bring the people to you. I think that probably did work. I think that's why every guru video is kind of littered with it. And like I said, a lot of that advice is outdated because AI now will scan your videos, it will take that information and it will give it back to people as a point. And so your how-to video that was really optimized for search, people don't use it anymore. They just get the regurgitated information from Gemini or Claude or ChatGPT. So AI has decimated search. It's changed the landscape for all of us. So we can't even bring the people to us now. Even that option has left us. So you might be sat there thinking, wow, that's really bleak. I bet this geezer's fun at parties. I only clicked on it because he had a monkey mask on. I thought he might be funny. He hasn't made me laugh once. I apologise for that. Probably another reason why no one wants to watch. Noted. Any other helpful feedback and criticism of that, put in the comments. A little bit of engagement bait for you there. Still, I think I'm doing all right, even though I only get 4 impressions and 0 views. I think it's okay. It doesn't really bother me. I'm all right. I don't need it, and I'll try and explain it to you. Something that a lot of people do is that they are goals-based. And I think if you go into this process being goals-based, you're screwed. You're really, really in a bad place. So what I mean by being goals-based is if you come into this and say, right, I want to make YouTube videos and I want to get millions of views, or you come into it and you say, my goal is to be super famous, or you come into it and you say, my goal is to be super rich, but it's not going to get you anywhere because your goals aren't reflective of what you put in. They aren't reflective of your performance. If you, mystery person that's watching this right now, are the world's best ever content creator and you're making incredible material, but it never gets served to anyone, no one can click it and no one can watch it. And so you're never going to achieve your goals. And so your goals are inherently in the hands of YouTube. And so you cannot live your life by having whether you are a success or failure in someone else's hands. That is not a good way to go through life. That is a way to go through life and feel utterly distraught and utterly frustrated and hard done by and bitter. Do not do that to yourself. Instead, what you need to have is a values-based approach. Which means, in terms of metrics, you can be an abject failure. My channel is an abject failure. I may have one of the worst performing channels on the entire platform. Despite that, I am a success. I'm telling you right now, in my YouTube journey, I am succeeding. And the reason why is because I am using a values-based mindset. My values are this. I want to be creative in my approach to life. That is a value that I hold dear. Creativity is important. Self-expression is important. Being understood by others is important. And I will live my life according to the value of trying to make that happen through being creative. By the sheer act of making a video, I've succeeded in fulfilling my value. I have been creative. Whether anyone watches it or not has no impact on whether I've been creative. It'd be wonderful if people did watch it, but that's out of my hands. Taking the time to be creative, think about things that I want to talk about, and learning how to use cameras and audio equipment and lighting and editing software, I've done that part. I've taken the parts that I can control and I've done it. If creativity is not that important to you and it's all about making money and actually you're just like, I don't really even care what videos I'm making, I'm just trying to make money out of this. If your goal is to make money, forget about that. But instead your value is to work hard and be dedicated because that is in your control. You could make videos from here into your dying day and no one could watch them. And if you were trying to live by the goal of making money, you'd feel like a failure. However, if you're trying to live by the value of being dedicated, well, you made one into your dying day. You made one a week into your dying day. You certainly turned up for yourself. You certainly showed dedication. You certainly fulfilled the aim of living by that value. So you are a success. That's the only way I think this YouTube journey can make you happy. And do you know what's really odd about that? Is it's gone full circle. Because the original YouTubers, the original pioneers, they did it before there were ads on the platform. They did it before there was any kind of ad partnership where they could make money from it, before YouTubers got brand deals, before they got merch lines and all the rest of it. They did it for the love of it. So they were never doing it on a goal-based approach. They were always doing it on a value-based approach. And by achieving those values, then they achieved worldly success, typical success that people value as well around fame and money and everything else. And I think that's a better hack than you're going to get from any kind of guru who tells you, you need to log in at 12:01 a.m. on the full moon and you need to only use Internet Explorer 9.1 on your dad's old Palm Pilot. None of that matters. So I hope you found that useful. This is my channel called Utterly Bananas. It's called that because I live with a lifelong condition that I can't even talk about without making the YouTube algorithm very nervous. But the whole point of this channel is that modern life is nuts, and sometimes it takes someone who's a bit of an outsider like me, who is nuts, to point out to all you lovely normal people about some of the things that you do that you assume are normal, but are really nuts. That's quite a convoluted way of saying it, but I think some of the way that you people are approaching YouTube is a little bit nuts. If by any miracle you're watching this, please do like and subscribe. It really helped me out.